Hello, good evening. It's time for the business segment here on Joy News Prime with me, Beverly Broohm. Coming up, multinational chief executives predict economic recession next year. We'll bring you details from a survey conducted by accounting and auditing firm KPMG.
For the next 3 years, there's greater uncertainty in terms of what the outlook gives us. But as I said already, most of these CEOs believe that uncertainty will be short-lived.
Plus, National Insurance Commission (NIC) reveals that the solvency position of insurance companies has improved following recapitalization of the sector. We'll hear from the Commissioner of Insurance, Dr. Justice Ofori. Hello again. Let's settle for the details now. 86% of chief executive officers sampled by accounting and auditing firm KPMG believes a global recession will happen over the next 12 months. However, 58% feel it will be mild and short, while 76% have plans in place to deal with it. The phenomenon is likely to have an effect on sub-Saharan African countries, including Ghana, which is seeking an IMF bailout. Ebenezer Sabute has been speaking with a senior partner of KPMG, Anthony Sapong, on the outlook and files this report.
In its 2022 CEO Outlook, KPMG said the CEOs are however ready and prepared to weather the current geopolitical and economic challenges while still anticipating long-term global growth. Also, the report said geopolitical uncertainties will likely continue to impact strategies, with 81% of CEOs adjusting or planning to adjust their risk management procedures. But in spite of short-term recession fears, the increased confidence CEOs have for the longer term indicates they feel well prepared to navigate their businesses through turbulent times. Here is senior partner of KPMG Ghana, Anthony Sapong.
You will notice that if you look forward for the next 3 years, there's greater uncertainty in terms of what the outlook gives us. But as I said already, most of these CEOs believe that uncertainty will be short-lived. So if you come to Ghana, the first immediate thing, currently our economy is in serious crisis. The situation is perplexing, and both for government and for corporates and for individuals. So in terms of government policy, we would expect that the confidence that is lost is rebuilt. That's very, very important and it's immediate. And you see that through the action that the policy that government has taken to go to IMF. We believe that the effect or the outcome of the IMF program in the short term should bring some confidence.
When asked about their confidence in the resilience over the next 6 months, 73% still had a positive outlook, up 13 percentage points from February 2022.
If demand is going down and factories that are demanding volumes of cocoa are going down, then of course the volumes that they are demanding from us are going to go down, prices will fall, and will not get the expected revenue that we have in that particular case. But the other side of it is that because their economic activities have gone down and demand is down, the cost of production and inflation will also go down in those economies. So what we get is a better upside in terms of other imported goods that we have. So in a recession in a developed country where we are import dependent, we then tend to have a mixed bad and good case. The real effect is uncertain. To what extent will our commodity prices go down, and what extent that an eventual inflation in those economies can be imported into.
The COVID-19 pandemic fatigue and economic factors, including the threat of rising interest rates and inflation, top the list of most pressing concerns for CEOs today at 15% and 14% respectively. Operational, regulatory, and reputational concerns also jumped into the top 5.
The Bank of Ghana must share in the blame of the economic quagmire the country currently finds itself in. That's according to Professor Williams Prepra of the Andrews University in Michigan, USA. Professor Prepra maintained that the delays by the Monetary Policy Committee in responding to price hikes contributed to inflation getting out of hand. Speaking to Joy Business on calls for the finance minister to be sacked, Professor Prepra stated that it will be prudent for the governor of the Bank of Ghana to also resign.
Justification is that the role of the bank, of the governor, is to bring about price stability. he has also failed in ensuring that he uses the monetary tools that he has to bring about the price stability. So now we want, let me put it, a total change in mindset in the implementation of issues. So he must also leave. Remember that I also granted an interview and said that they delayed in taking some measures. And I wrote an article with the graph projecting where the interest rate and monetary policy rate were going to go, but they didn't take the action. And indeed, the World Bank and IMF also confirmed that delay. So he must also give way. And we shouldn't forget the Bank of Ghana operates under the Ministry of Finance. So if we are asking the minister to leave, he must also give way to a new crop of people who can assist and bring out that change. As mentioned, now where we are is more of psychological than economic or finance, because already the city has devalued so much. Prices are out of gear. If you don't take care, there'll be unrest in the country. So once government gives the signal that those in charge of the economic management team are being removed, the new ones are being replaced, the confidence will come back.
That was Professor Williams Repra of Andrews University in Michigan, USA. Now, away from that, Ghana is likely to undertake some form of debt restructuring to put its debt under a sustainable path. That's according to the September Africa market revealed by the Standard Chartered Bank. The government is presently in negotiations with the IMF. It said broad consensus amongst the investor community is that the government of Ghana will likely have to restructure debt. Charles Nixon-Yabua has more.
Standard Chartered Bank said though it agrees with investors that there will be some form of debt restructuring, it's unclear whether it will be external or domestic debt or both. It explained that since the government confirmed negotiations with the IMF for a funded deal back in July, it seemed quiet on restructuring external debt at the onset. Still, the government has since concurred to some form of debt restructuring if required. The report further said most external creditors believe domestic debt restructuring will be required to restore public debt on a more sustainable path. This is because, unlike in Zambia, a larger share of Ghana's debt service is skewed towards domestic debt service, which is primarily why there is a consensus building around this. It's predicted that the earliest that this government may secure an agreement with the fund for a funded program may be around December to April next year. However, the key question is whether the IMF would first provide a staff-level agreement and then require progress on a debt restructuring plans.
Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority has revealed that the invigilation of value-added tax VAT at shops yielded as high as 1,700% in revenue collection for the month of September. According to the Commissioner General, Dr. Amisha Dayo-Usomwa, 69% of the shops at which the action was taken altered their records and paid far below the required amount for June, July, and August. He spoke at the Youth Economic Forum as part of the Ghana Economic Forum organized by the Business and Financial Times.
The Ghana Revenue Authority recently undertook a VAT invigilation exercise at shops noted to be evading tax. Speaking on the sidelines of the Youth Economic Forum, Commissioner General of the authority, Dr. Amisha Dayo-Usomwa, disclosed that his outfit recouped more than anticipated and indicated that strict sanctions will be taken against corporates.
We had 53 entities that we did a VAT invigilation. Out of the results that we had, if you look at the filing in terms of what the entity has filed as his sales for June, which he has also filed for July, he has filed for August, and then you compare with what we found in September, 69% of them, the difference is more than 100%, and some of them goes as high as 1,700%. And I give you some examples that there was somebody who was filing 75,000 Ghana cedis per month, But when you get to the September, when we went to the shop, it was over 3 million. There were others who were filing, say, in fact, there was one who was filing 19,000, 17,000, and 20,000 for the 3 months. I went to the shop, it was 330,000. So it means that these are revenues that are being understated.
Meanwhile, Professor Gov't indicated that ensuring tax compliance is not a major solution to Ghana's economic crisis. According to him, government needs to look at this expenditure, reduce the number of ministers, and take advantage of the crisis by investing in value addition.
Yes, we'll collect more revenue. We all have to be more tax compliant, but we're also saying that let's look at the expenditure. Let's take advantage of this crisis. Let's reduce the number of ministers to about 40 or below. We can do that. In fact, then reducing the number of ministers or the size of government drastically will not affect growth. It will rather free up space for growth-enhancing spending. That's the only way Ghana can come out of this. It will not amount to so much just changing the finance minister. He must go a step further and reduce the number of ministers and the government size overall, including the staff at the presidency. And beyond that, we must stretch that across state-owned enterprises, right? If you look at the staff strength, that has gone up since 2017. We are creating deputy CEOs and all of that. Look, this is the best time for Ghana to look at Ghana and say what is tolerable, what cannot be allowed.
The Youth Economic Forum was organized by the Business and Financial Times on the theme, Building a Robust and Resilient Economy Through Technology, Finance, Investment, Trade and Entrepreneurship.
Now, Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Chimanting, has assured that the government is committed to boosting the growth of the local poultry industry. This to support local economies and help job creation for stakeholders in the value chain. Alan Chimanting gave the commitment after touring the ultra-modern chicken production, processing and marketing complex, Bunta Farms, in the Ashanti, in the Eastern region.
Commitment to increase local production of poultry and reduce importation is being boosted with the establishment of Bunta Farms in the Eastern region. The Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Chimanting, joined the President's Eastern Regional Tour to visit and inspect ongoing works at the factory, which will be one of the biggest in the West African sub-region. The minister hinted that all efforts are being made to increase local production of poultry.
Government is determined as a matter of policy to enhance local capacity for the production of chicken and other poultry products, because we believe that it will create significant opportunities for job creation, particularly once you have investors like Mr. Jan who put in their resources into building this particular anchor facility, that it allows other smaller producers as outgrowers to feed into this particular anchor facility. And I have no doubt in my mind that since this is consistent with government's policy to support local poultry production, that this will become one of the signature companies for us in this country.
Managers of the farm, which is under the One District, One Factory initiative, are seeking government support to complete the final phase of the factory construction. Here is lawyer Kwame Jan, owner of the facility, interacting with journalists at the farm premises during the president visit.
So far, what we have done here, whatever you see here, is coming from our own private resources. We have applied to the Ghana Exim Bank to support us. They've come here to review the situation on the ground, and we are waiting for them to come and say something positive to us. How much are you looking for? We are looking in the region of about $8 million more.
And beyond, aside Eximba, which other financing options have you explored?
We've not explored other financing because of the interest rates.
Oh, okay. So how much has gone in already?
What we are putting is more than what we are asking Exim Bank to give us.
The facility is expected to commence production by February next year.
Still on agriculture, the Minister of Agriculture for South Africa will be leading a delegation to Ghana during this year's Farmers' Day celebration. According to the South African High Commissioner to Ghana, Grace Mason, this feeds into the broader scope of the African Union agenda for 2022, which is achieving food security on the continent. Here's a report.
Speaking at a networking cocktail by the Ghana South Africa Business Chamber and the Ghana Netherlands Business and Culture Council, South African High Commissioner to Ghana, Grace Mason, revealed that a delegation of agri stakeholders in South Africa will be visiting Ghana as part of strengthening bilateral relations.
During the first week of December, where Ghana will be celebrating its Farmers' Week, there are a number of activities. So we have the South African Minister of Agriculture that will be bringing a delegation of South African farmers, because we feel that the opportunities are here. We have as Africans, we've got arable land, and the opportunities that we must leverage on is agriculture. At the apex of the economies is basically agriculture, and that is the African Union agenda for 2022, finding food security and nutrition. And food security for me is at the apex, and hence will be bringing in a trade delegation to look at farming and agriculture.
President of the Ghana South Africa Business Chamber, Grant Weber, said Ghana must do things differently to help end the economic challenges in the country. According to him, most interventions by government are cosmetic rather than impactful.
Who knows where the CD dollar will be in December, but for sure it's going to affect households and our ability to buy things. And I'm not sure anyone is ready for the next 6 months. I do think, without being negative, that the next 6 months could be even worse than what we're going through now. I think the man in the street wants to see government doing something visible. There must be action and it must be seen. From a man in the street's perspective, we don't see that the government is doing anything, and if they are doing anything, it's merely cosmetic and not far-reaching enough.
Government and other stakeholders have been urged to create robust support systems that will aid in the operations of various small and medium enterprises in the country. This comes after a report by GIZ and CATS International that indicated that most SMEs have little or no idea of the impact of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. According to the country head of MasterCard Foundation, Rosie Finn, more work is needed to fully prepare them for the agreement. She spoke at the 2022 Ghana Economic Forum.
11th edition of the Ghana Economic Forum brings together all stakeholders in the economy to have engaging and thought-provoking dialogues that help reshape the economy and the nation. According to Rosie Finn, her outfit is working assiduously to improve the operations of small businesses in the country.
FTA is actually an area that we're really interested in, and it's being handled from a regional perspective. It's a huge opportunity where cross-border trade can happen, right? There's a lot of opportunity in Ghana. People are making great products. Some of the partnerships we have with the Ghana Enterprise Agency, for example, Cosmos Innovation Center, what we are seeing is very talented young people who are coming up with natural products, shea butter products, clothes, jewelry, etc. Ghana is a great marketplace, but the entire African continent should be their bedrock where they can sell, right? So there's actually a concerted effort and discussions going on with the FTA to find opportunities for young people to take advantage of trade opportunities. And that's something that for sure the MasterCard Foundation is going to be definitely involved in. Training, building up their capacity to be able to take advantage will definitely be part of the story once we get there.
Any questions? Thank you.
Sure.
Chief Executive Officer for the Business and Financial Times, Dr. Godwin Akwe, said such platform will aid in networking for entrepreneurs.
Usually it will be Ghana Economic Forum, and then we said no, the youth will have a voice. We want to know exactly what the youth want in terms of their challenges, not just the adults or policymakers coming together and then proffer solutions to difficulties in Ghana. But this time, we want to hear what the youth have. in terms of their challenges, their peculiar challenges. Feedback we got from them was that usually you have statesmen, you have the government officials, come talk, but they are not considered in terms of what goes into policy. So this is why we established this platform for the youth.
This year's event is spread across multiple panel sessions over 3 days.
Now, the National Insurance Commission has indicated that the solvency position of the sector has improved. According to Insurance Commissioner Justice Ofori, players within the sector should put up measures to increase insurance penetration in Ghana. Speaking at the commissioning of a new office for Imperial General Assurance, he maintained that the NIC will continue to work to protect customers and players to ensure the growth of the sector.
At the commissioning said the number of sector players will continue to rise as they train, grow and strengthen the market. He maintained that the increased transparency and ease of verifying authenticity in claims and policy will build confidence in insurance more broadly.
The National Insurance Commission has taken some tough decisions to sanitize the insurance market. The objective is to position the sector as a major growth driver to support the much-needed economic transformation of Ghana. The solvency position of the sector has improved on the back of the ongoing recapitalization of the insurance sector and orderly resolution of distressed companies. The National Insurance Commission is therefore focused on strengthening solvency, protecting customers, and creating an enabling environment that encourages the development of relevant and responsive products. In this vein, Imperial General Assurance should ensure strict compliance with the Insurance Act, the Solvency Framework, directives and guidelines issued by the National Insurance Commission.
Minister for Trade and Industry Alan Tremantin also pledged government support to expand the sector.
In spite of the challenges that we are going through as a country, the industry is going through, that Imperial will see this as a new beginning for the company to be able to capture market share in the insurance industry. As I'm sure you're all aware, government is embarking on a very aggressive program for industrialization, which also includes developing our small and medium enterprise sector. And this means that insurance companies have a captive market in the small and medium enterprise sector.
Deputy Managing Director for Imperial General Assurance Harry Oforiatta stated that the company will continue to bring to the market innovative products.
Imperial General Assurance started about 9 years ago. It has operated for quite some time, basically with the focus of satisfying customers. But following the capitalization, Imperial has capitalized and is now fully capitalized with a 50 million capital. Currently, our focus is to drive customer satisfaction, create convenience for our customers, and also provide reach for our customers. That is why we have launched the Imperial Hub, which enables our customers to go out there and transact business anywhere, anyhow. They can be in their bed and then they'll be satisfied. They can renew their policy whilst in their bed anywhere. They can be having tea and be renewing their policy and buy insurance wherever they are.
Imperial General Assurance says it is determined to change positively how the value of insurance is appreciated in Ghana.
And that's how we end business on Joy News Prime with me, Beverly Broohm. Thank you so much for your company. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I leave you.